It's the beginning of the year, and a lot of questions that typically come up are, how do I lose fat? How do I gain weight? How do I lose weight? And what's the most effective way of spending my time at the gym? What all these questions have in common is effectively building muscle. So how do you build muscle? Well, in this video, I'm gonna lay out some of the most basic but fundamental concepts you need to know to build muscle. I've been weight training myself for about 2 to 3 years now, consistently, and I wish I had this knowledge before I started going to the gym. This will save you so much time. First and foremost, I wanted to shout out Jeff Nippard, a pro bodybuilder, powerlifter, and science communicator to millions of people. Jeff inspired me to make this video, and many of the concepts I'm going to be talking about today, he covers in extremely large detail. So if you do want to further dive into science behind building muscle, go ahead and check him out when you get the chance. One of the prerequisites you need to know before pursuing your journey to build muscle is that it's not an easy process, guys. It will be hard and you will need to dedicate time to this. I cannot stress this enough. Many people don't realize the time that actually goes behind making progress in this arena. It is time consuming. It does involve quite a bit of commitment and discipline, so be mentally prepared for that. Without further ado, let's dive into some of the most basic concepts behind building muscle. To put in plain terms, to build muscle, you need to lift weights and you need to eat protein. Protein is found in foods such as chicken, fish, beef, dairy, and protein powder, but much more. When you weight train, your muscles think, I better get stronger if we're gonna be lifting all this heavy weight. So you're essentially programming your muscles to grow more and more every time you lift weights. However, just lifting weights is not enough on its own. If you want to build something, you need material to build it. So this is where that protein part comes in. So what's the big deal behind protein? Well, protein contains amino acids, which are the building blocks for your muscle. When you lift weights, you're telling the muscle to get bigger, and when you consume protein, you're giving your muscle the material it needs to build that new muscle. Let's recap a few things. So to build muscle, you need to have a strong mindset. You need to be disciplined and committed. Keep in mind, this is not just a mental commitment, but a time commitment as well. According to the United States Department of Health and Human Services, leading research suggests that generally you should be working about 3 to 5 days a week for an average of 30 minutes to an hour. Obviously, this time can vary depending on the individual, but only working out a day or two a week is not going to be as beneficial as working out 3 to 5 days a week. What you put in is what you're going to get out. Think of it as studying for a test. The majority of the time, the more you study, the better you're going to do on it. This goes for anything we do in life, guys. The more time and dedication you give to something, the better you're going to become at it. This is the same thing with building muscle. The other thing is eating protein and having a good diet in general. No, this doesn't mean eating salads for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but this means having a balanced diet of macronutrients depending on your goals. So let's dive into work. Work typically refers to the number of sets times the number of reps times the amount of weight that you're doing. But as of 2015, many physiological studies state that high intensity, low volume resistance training is more advantageous at achieving true muscular hypertrophy than a moderate intensity, high volume workout. Now, notice how I said typically, and the reason why is because genetics play a big role into this as well as your goals. If you're training for endurance, you may want to emphasize volume over intensity, and to also note, you should really experiment with what works out for you the best, because everyone's going to be a little bit different depending on their preference, their body type, what they're trying to achieve, their goals and everything. So you should really experiment with what's most beneficial for you. So let's say, for example, you wanted to work out your triceps, the large muscle on the back of your upper arm. To warm up, you should start with a set of 12 to 15 repetitions and then gradually increase your weight every set. When you gradually increase the weight every set, you want to perform about 6 to 8 repetitions for about 2 to 4 sets depending on the individual. Keep in mind, you want to be able to perform high intensity with proper form. So proper form and time under tension greatly stimulate muscle growth. There's no reason you shouldn't be using proper form. If you're not using proper form, you're just wasting your time. So to conclude, to effectively build muscle, you need to consider the following. You need to have dedication and consistency. Motivation's only gonna get you so far at the end of the day. You need to understand this is not an overnight process. This will take time, and you need to give it that time in order to see results. Diet plays an important role in building muscle as well. Your diet should be tailored to your needs depending on your body weight, your goals, any other health factors that could affect what you eat and what you work out. Your diet should be tailored to what you want to do at the end of the day. And lastly, the most important thing, if you want to effectively build muscle and achieve muscular hypertrophy, is to train with high intensity and low volume. This pretty much sums up the most basic but fundamental concepts for building muscle. Thank you all so much for watching.